listening to the QSR Web podcast. At the Restaurant Franchising and Innovation Summit, executives from leading brands will share their success stories of the numerous ways they have innovated to grow their franchises. Attendees will gain insight and inspiration to help them be more progressive in every facet of their businesses. Register today at franchisinginnovation.com.
Hello again, and happy to have you here for the QSR Web podcast. I'm QSR Web and Pizza Marketplace editor Shelley Whitehead, and delighted that you're listening in today because I promise it will be worth your while. One reason for that is that the century-old, privately owned QSR White Castle is in the house today in the form of the brand's vice president, Jamie Richardson. And he'll be up in just a few minutes to talk about that brand's increasingly varied repertoire of its famous sliders and how the brand develops new sandwiches. But first, something that might one day help pay for that bag of sliders, blockchain technology. Specifically, the information that QSR Web's sister site, Blockchain Tech News, focuses on through its editor, Bradley Cooper. Welcome, Coop.
Hello. Thank you for having me on, Shelley.
My pleasure. And man, oh man, has this ever been a topic of food industry interest over the last few years. So why is that? And for those who still haven't figured it all out, what is blockchain?
Well, I think everyone wants to be on the cutting edge and everyone wants the next coolest thing. And with blockchain specifically, blockchain essentially is a decentralized ledger. So you can think of it almost in very simple terms as like a database that isn't controlled by one person. It's controlled by multiple people. And essentially, blockchain's first use case was with Bitcoin to be able to record Bitcoin transactions. But it has since expanded since then to things like, looking at supply chain management or smart contracts or things like that. So that's blockchain in the very basic.
Awesome. So why is a digital ledger like this such a big deal for restaurant payment and even restaurant operation overall?
Well, the first thing that restaurants might use it for is something like loyalty payments. So just being able to really easily push tokens for people that they can use, say, to like redeem a burger or something like that. But one area I think is even bigger is in the issue of supply chain management. I'm sure you're aware that there's been many outbreaks, especially with romaine lettuce. Well, blockchain gives a solution for that because with supply chain management, you can track where a particular piece of lettuce or piece of meat, where it came from, where it went from there, so that way you can instantly identify if they're in the event of an outbreak, which strand is the real problem, and you can isolate that.
That would have, I'm sure the FDA would have appreciated that during the outbreaks recently. But I have to tell you, there seems to be a lot of fear, or maybe it's suspicion among more Luddite consumers like yours truly. Does that trigger some hesitancy around the acceptance of virtual currencies and blockchain in general usage with restaurateurs? And if so, how's the blockchain industry addressing that?
Certainly, that is a big problem. There's just not a whole lot of understanding of what blockchain is, or there might be misconceptions where people think it's primarily used for criminal activity, or it's primarily used by fraudsters looking to make a quick buck. I think the way the blockchain industry is trying to address it right now is through two ways. Number one, they're trying to work with governments to try to develop some common sense regulations just so they and other industries just know where they stand. And another way they're trying to do that is just through education. Just how can we make this simpler for people? And also, how can they attract new talent to the blockchain industry so they have the manpower to do this?
That makes sense. Kind of going at it from all directions. I guess since you're the pro on this, if you had to tell a restaurateur the top 3 reasons he or she would would or should check out blockchain and even virtual currencies, what would those be?
I think the first one is obviously for supply chain management, as I mentioned, just the ability to examine where your products come from. The second one is to use it as like a royalty payment sort of thing, like with making your own token, just to sort of, get your brand out there and do a really great campaign. For example, Oscar Mayer did a campaign a while back where they offered bacon coins where people could redeem those to get free bacon. So just something like that is just a really nice little marketing tool. The third one I'd say is just maybe more related to something like identity management with blockchain is interesting because you can sort of confirm who is someone's identity on the blockchain or something someone's made. So you could use that, say, for example, if you wanted to confirm customers' identity, if they're trying to access a profile, and you could use that for, like, maybe if the restaurant wanted to push out some of their branded images, they want to make sure that no one stole it so they can have it registered on the blockchain. Just little things like that.
Well, that's a big thing. That's something I'd never thought about. I guess on the flip side of that, what would you warn restaurateurs about up front as they begin to plunge into blockchain?
Warning, this is still an infant industry, so you need to be careful about who you decide to partner with, because obviously there are some businesses that are just in it for the short-term gain. So you need to be careful, especially with who you're doing business with, and you also need to make sure you do your research beforehand of how exactly do I want to use this. And also just to keep in mind, as I said before, it's still an infant industry, so you're not going to get a huge product right from the get-go.
Yeah, it's kind of the plight of the early adopter, isn't it? To kind of have to take on. Well, it seems to me you've just come up with a report you've been working on regarding restaurants and blockchain. That might go a long way toward helping educate people a little bit. Tell us about that.
Well, sure. Well, actually, I just wanted to talk a little bit about one report I did a while back that talks about identity management. So there was this company that put in displays in their restrooms, especially for restaurants, and those displays would show ads when people would go to wash their hands, and then the impressions of those ads would be recorded on the blockchain, so make sure someone actually turned on the sink and someone actually got the ad. So that could be useful for restaurants, maybe if they want to push out their loyalty campaigns or want to push a new product. But the report I'm working on now, we're going to be looking at what can blockchain really be used for the restaurant industry. So specifically things like dealing with outbreaks, and how would that look for a restaurant, and how would they go about deploying that. So that's what my upcoming report in the next few weeks is going to be about.
Next few weeks to keep looking out for that. Well, we'll certainly let folks know about it on our website, and I know you will let folks know about it on yours. I want to thank you so much for stopping in. And of course, to everybody who's listening, please check out Blockchain Tech News anytime for all the ongoing news around this important and what's beginning to sound like a potentially game-changing technology for restaurants. But first, hang on just a few seconds, because we're coming right back with the home of that famous little square burger known as the Slider, White Castle.
Many of the fastest growing and most successful chains in the restaurant industry are embracing innovation throughout their operations. These forward-thinking brands are constantly looking for the next innovation, new technologies, new menu items, new marketing tactics, new training programs, etc., that will propel them to even greater heights. Come and learn these innovations at the Restaurant Franchising and Innovation Summit. Register today at franchisinginnovation.com.
Welcome back. And earlier this month, White Castle debuted the Slider's shaggy brother, the Sloppy Joe Slider, as an LTO. Then just last week, the brand introduced a new retail variation in the Turkey Slider. And those are just two of the rotating and expanding cast of slider characters that this long-time and really humble brand in a palatial abode has developed to capture the infinitely changing taste of the U.S. consumer. Today, please welcome White Castle Vice President Jamie Richardson, who has graciously dropped by the podcast to fill us in on how that new slider variation development process goes and how the variety of little square sandwiches in restaurant and retail is keeping this old brand new again. Welcome, Jamie.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
We're delighted to have you. So first off, how many slider variations are there at the moment, and when did the brand first start sliding off new takes on its original?
Well, as a family-owned business, we've actually been around for almost 100 years now. So we'll celebrate our 98th birthday soon. And in the beginning, at the base of all metaphysics, there was the original slider, 100% beef, steam grilled on a bed of onions, served on a bakery fresh bun with one perfect pickle. And, as time has gone on, today, if you were to go to our order online menu or look at our mobile app, we've got 15 sliders that are there as possibilities. And candidly, the variations are unlimited, because if you want to put smoky cheddar on that sandwich, heck, we don't care if you put it on your breakfast waffle slider. That sounds good to us. So there's really a multiplier there. But we've just had a lot of fun with it. And so much of it has come from the realization, as we transition from third generation of ownership to fourth generation of ownership, that we were no longer a hamburger company. That was always going to be part of who we are. But more importantly, we're now a slider company. And I think that shaped a lot of our menu development as well.
You almost, you invented the word. So you almost had to delineate between luge as a slider and slider as a slider.
I'll tell you, we love our partnership with USA Luge. They're incredible friends and great partners. And turns out luge athletes are called sliders. And so, hey, from that point of origin, we've become fast friends ever since. We help them recruit the new and hopefully future Olympians. Each year they go around city to city all summer long and look for youngsters who might have an aptitude for luge. And so it's been a great experience.
Yeah, that's neat. When you were talking about all the slider variations, I was thinking it must be kind of like walking a tightrope to both stay true to the age-old slider that kind of made you, while also meeting the needs of what's becoming an increasingly sophisticated American QSR diner. So I'm wondering how you mind that balance when creating new variations, particularly in a 100-year-old brand.
That's a great question. I think so much of it is about being true to our guiding principles that our founder, Billy Ingram, had in mind when he started White Castle. And, you go back way to 1921, Billy really believed in the idea that every family deserved a night off, that every family deserved the opportunity to dine out in a restaurant and have hot and tasty, affordable food. So no matter whatever income level you might be at, that was something that everybody should be able to enjoy. So right from the beginning, it was about providing great taste at an affordable price. And I think that's the governing principle we have still today in terms of finding those one-of-a-kind distinctive sandwiches you can't get anywhere else that are incredibly tasty, but along the way, offer them for great value. We have a great partnership with Impossible Foods, and we sell the Impossible Slider, which is a plant-based protein sandwich. Looks like beef, sizzles like beef, tastes like beef. We sell that for $1.99. Some of our brothers and sisters in the restaurant industry sell a similar sandwich, but it's $12 or $13. So for us, I think it's about providing great value and accessibility, but not sacrificing quality or great taste.
How do you test all those new variations, and what's the key to whether you add a new slider or even a side item or dessert when it comes to those initial customer impressions, aside, of course, from great taste? What are you looking for?
Yeah. Well, when you ask that question, how do we test those? Very carefully. I have to be a little cautious. I know you have great listenership, and I know all of our competitors are listening right now. So, but I won't be guarded. I'll just share that we really do begin and start with the customer in terms of And like a lot of good product development processes, we've got better at it over time. We started in 1921, our first new product in our history. It was hotly debated and hotly contested. But 41 years into it, in 1962, we added a slice of cheese to the burger. So to gear up and ramp up like we have over the last 5 to 7 years has been amazing and fun to watch. And the process is really focused on knowing what we're good at and knowing what people are looking for. For instance, our sandwiches are all served on buns we make in our own bakeries. We're proud of that. We had a record year for bun production last year. That's kind of fun to say. But along the way, that guides us as well in terms of knowing, wow, on that 2x2 inch platform, we don't mind having smaller size sandwiches because we think that provides our customers and future friends the chance to sample. And so you're not all in. If you buy a sandwich and boy, I didn't know that wasn't the taste I was looking for, you can enjoy another sandwich without ruining the evening. So we just had a blast listening to customers, asking good questions, hopefully, and then letting those responses guide us.
I'm going to change the subject a tiny bit to address kind of like this increasingly green world that we're living in. White Castle has not only introduced its veggie slider like 5 years ago, then the Impossible slider and the approved Impossible slider, but what about straight salad or some other type of vegetable offering? Will you go that direction?
I think for us, listening to our customers around sustainability has been an important focus. And most importantly, we've listened to our team members. So internally, one of our fourth generation family members, Shannon Tolliver, leads our efforts around animal welfare policies and sustainability. And that's part of our thought process in terms of being really mindful about the triple bottom line. And I mentioned our bakeries a moment ago where we make our own buns. We ship those buns out to our restaurants. We break down the cartons that the buns ship in, send them back to the bakery. And every time you see one of those bun boxes, it's got a little dot on it. And it's not uncommon to see a bun box that's been used 35, 40 times. So I think that thriftiness is a place and space that we believe in. With regard to menu development, that is really as much a response to customer demand. And there was an ache for great tasting veggie sliders that could be available in the fast food arena. And our partnership with Dr. Prager's has been profound and good and helped us get started in that arena over 4 years ago. And our new partnership with Impossible Foods has been similar. I don't know if it leads to salads or not. I think anything's possible. Right now, we're pretty thrilled with the menu we have and how customers are responding.
Yeah, how are those Impossible slider sales going, by the way?
Oh my goodness, now you got me guarded again because I don't want to say too much, but we're really, really pleased with how well it's done. And the customer feedback and team member feedback has been incredible. So that's been really, really fun and good for us. And we really believe it's allowed us to talk to, every customer who comes in, whether they lean more towards carnivore or more towards vegan. And so, and I think in our world and our colleagues, I bet, feel the same way. It's not always a single decision, that it's kind of a, people like to spend time together, and they come to our restaurants spending time together. And we don't want to miss that chance for that visit because one person in the car doesn't have something on the menu they can crave too. So in that regard, it's been incredibly successful. And candidly, on all measures, it's been very successful.
I guess it excites the people working at the restaurant too to have something a little different to offer. Yeah,
we're so fortunate. We have 10,000 team members. This is hard to believe, but of our 10,000 team members, more than 1 in 4 have been at White Castle 10 years or more. So we've got the best focus group ever, just asking our team members good questions and seeing what they want to share with us. Another really fun thing about our operations leadership, of our top 450 restaurant operations leaders, 442 of those individuals started behind the counter at White Castle in an hourly role. We love the 8 who didn't. Yeah, so we love those 8 who didn't as well. But it's something to have that kind of, we're a family-owned business, but that goes well beyond the family that owns the business. That's each of us who made this work our life's work. and get to spend time together, hopefully making our neighborhoods a better place and feeding the souls of Craver generations everywhere.
Well, I'm wondering also, kind to extend that idea of menu variation into beverages. This has been such a changing category for the restaurant industry, where people are really developing things within the beverage category at their restaurants. Is anything like that in the works for White Castle that you will tell us about?
I can share two major things that have been interesting and good. We've been in partnership with Coca-Cola since 1921, since the very beginning. I mentioned we have 15 sliders if you go to our online menu right now, but in the beginning we had 4 menu items total, and that was the hamburger, apple pie, coffee, and Coca-Cola. So right from the get-go, Coke's been a great partner, and we're all in with the Freestyle machine. So we have that in each of our restaurants. It's a big commitment we made a year and a half ago, and we've been really pleased with that commitment. So when it comes to variety and choice, there's no better offering, we believe, than having that Freestyle machine. And our general managers and team members love that it's available. We wondered a little bit, how's that going to work at the drive-thru? It's amazing in terms of how quickly and clearly customers are able to communicate what they want, because candidly, a lot of times before they get to that speaker, they already know they want a diet cherry vanilla Coke with a splash of Fanta strawberry. Whatever their recipe is, they can communicate it pretty well. The other thing we've done is develop a really great real fruit smoothie program that's done really, really well for us. And so we have some seasonal options that we offer. Last summer we did strawberry lemonade. Gosh, I don't think I can remember what we're doing this summer right this second, but
conveniently.
but conveniently, but I know it's going to be great. And that, candidly, I think we're able to do these things because we have team members who are so willing to try things. We've learned a lot. We got great feedback from our teams in the restaurants about the smoothies, because we had a process where we pre-measure everything out, get everything prepped at the start of each day. Well, we're 24 hours, but we do it every morning. And we found, in working with our different partners, we could have that all ready to go without any compromise in quality or taste. And anything that saves time, as all of us know, back of house, helps us serve our customers better. So, we learn as we go, but we've been really, really impressed and pleased with how that fruit smoothie program has gone. I'm kind of partial to the peach, but that's just me.
On your recommendation, I will look forward to it.
Absolutely. You'll love it.
Thanks so much, Jamie. It's always fun to find out what you all are up to. And I appreciate your time. We really kind of learned a lot from you today, and it's always changing at White Castle.
The more things change, the more we crave the same.
It's in every statement, isn't it?
We try.
Listen, that's going to do it for today's podcast, but be sure and come back next Friday for a brand new edition featuring one of the assortment of great brands in this innovative industry. Until then, here's wishing all of you great business. Bye-bye.